For an SME, and I'll try and relate to FinFort, where we've gone through these stages. But basically, corporate governance is all the processes or structures that a business would put in place to future-proof the business, to be able for the business to be resilient into the future. I know many SMEs at that stage would be struggling just to raise the funds to run any form of structure. And I already think it needs to start from the top, where you probably need to have, like Sarah said, maybe an advisory board. For our case, we went for a supervisory board. Their charter gave them a lot of powers. And when we were forming it, one of my co-founders asked me, so these guys can fire us? I said, unfortunately, yes, they can fire us if we don't deliver to what we've pledged to do. Now, of course, there's an issue of cost initially putting together the board, but I looked at it from a way how we were putting together industry experts, and in a way we were getting free consultation, free advisory services. I mean, we engaged the board so much. Our first board, there's an expert on macroeconomics, so we really needed to understand our operating environment. There's an expert at capital raising, an executive director at an investment bank. I was always in his face just to understand how we need to structure to be able to attract capital. And then the rest of the people, someone in marketing, also how we position ourselves, how we able to grow the brand. And we basically got free consultation at zero cost, because we couldn't afford to pay them, but all we did is show them the journey, show them what we needed to do, show them the milestones, and ask that they serve on the board. Now, it's interesting. We always had quite a lot of things that we wanted to do, and you come very excited. You say, we need to start with this, and the board just puts its feet down and say, first do this before you do this. And sometimes it's humbling for you to respect that, because you could even think they're slowing you down, and then something happens later, and you're reviewing and say, yeah, the board was right. So for an SME, from my experience, and I think what works best before you grow enough revenues to be able to meet any corporate governance structures, you need to put in place a panel of experts that can guide in what you feel the business needs at that particular time, and also leverage that expertise to roll out and grow the business. It could be costly, it is painful, it requires you giving away control, being accountable to someone, and maybe you've moved out of employment, you're like, this is it for me, we need to do our thing and run it our way, and then now you have to come and do reports and all that. But it's very critical. You can leverage the expertise, you can leverage the knowledge that if you've got a good board of experts. Also, even before then, build networks for SMEs, build networks and leverage those networks to get the right people onto the board. And later you're able to still leverage those networks as you scale.